All right, so your next project, you got the sections done, that's fine. Now we're back to box building. So we're gonna kind of jump around, but I like projects. They're more fun than just doing stuff out of a book. What you're gonna do is design a box to fit a bottle of wine, right? Well, there's wine boxes out there. But here's our bottle of wine that we're going to use. And our box is going to be a little different. It's going to hold the bottle of wine at a slope on a table. Okay. So I've got a little sketch of what the concept is. And beyond that, you can design this however you want. But this is what the customer wants, is a box that holds the bottle of wine at some angle, 10 or 20. So fairly flat. That'll keep it stable. The higher it is, the more kind of unstable it'll get. So it's pretty flat. And the theory is that the bubble, you see the bubble in the wine is at the top, and that keeps the cork wet, and that preserves the bottle of wine. If you store it like this, the cork dries, the wine breathes, your bottle of wine's not what it's supposed to be. So that's why they store them like this. But I'm gonna have you put it at a little angle, right? So you're gonna design a box for this wine bottle to go into. And I want the box to have a kind of a flat region here at the bottom. That'll make it a little more stable as it sits on the table. That'll be the tricky part, to get that into your box. And then you're going to have to design some kind of an internal support thing that keeps the bottle from dropping into the narrower section and kind of blowing out the bottom of the box. Because we may want to set the bottle like this also, right? So it should be able to sit this way, horizontally, or excuse me, vertically, or on a slope. So this space needs to be big enough to still stand upright. So it can just be, this could be just a little flat, however you want to do it. Okay. This internal support system that is inside, that can be a separate piece from the box. So I'm sure you've all unpackaged something before, where you've had to like pull a piece of cardboard out, then pull your object out and you look down and then there's another piece of cardboard in the bottom that supported it. That's the kind of thing. So this piece does not have to be part of your flat pattern box. And this piece is also the same thing. That piece is going to kind of look like this. It's probably going to have these tails off of it, right? And then a hole to hold the bottle kind of supported at the top. Does that make sense? So these pieces here and here can be separate from the flat pattern box. All right. And then of course the box needs to hold the bottle of wine. This bottle of wine.
So the hole is for the little head.
Yeah, so it'll go around here and then also, so when it lays in the box, it just doesn't move around and makes it a
You don't open that up. There's no lid.
lid to what? Yeah, this will have a lid on it. So you could use this as kind of your starting concept. It has a bottom and this has a top. So this one is a great start if you're trying to figure out like what this pattern is going to look like, right? Because this thing folded up, and it had a glued piece right there. I'm okay if yours has a glued piece. I mean, it probably is going to have to, right? But then this has a top that shuts and a bottom that shuts, and we want that in our box. All right. Good so far? There's more. We want the label to be viewable. Yeah. So wherever this thing sits in, we're going to have to like cut a hole in our box to where the label, at least the name, this region comes through and we can see it from inside the box. Okay. So we have to have a hole, a viewport, so we can look and see our cool bottle of wine in our box. Also, so that's these, right? Wine box. The material is 1/16 mat board. So that is like this, very similar to this. I think this is a little thinner than a 16th, but if we took calipers, and that mat board has been ordered, it'll be here fairly soon. Let me get a thickness. So what's a 16th? Anyone got a calculator? I don't know my 16ths. 0.125, half of that, 0.06 something. Yeah, 0.0625. This, I just measured this at 0.065. So this is what we're using. Same material. That's inches. Yeah. So if you're thinking about like building the slot, right, for that tab, this is a good plan. So the other thing, if you really want to get, if you have things like this and you want it really tight when it comes together, the scarf on the laser is 10 thousandths. So what's that mean? Scarf equals 0.010, 10 thousandths of an inch. That means that here's an object. When you cut with the laser, it's removing 10 thousandths of the material. So from your line that it's cutting, it's removing 5 thousandths each direction. So if you cut a slot, that slot grows this way, this way, this way, and this way, 5 thousandths, 5 thousandths, 5 thousandths, and 5 thousandths. So actually overall it grows 10 thousandths. Okay. And if you're building a tab, that tab reduces 10 thousandths. So this one grows in size, a hole, but a tab actually reduces. Right? So you have to think about that, like, oh, if I want it to be really spot on tight, you need to consider the 10 thousandths cut. Okay. So and if you do consider that, the fit is perfect. Like you'll have to like push it in, works really well. All right. The last thing, so I think we got everything. We want the label visible. We want a support here, Those can be separate pieces. We want the box design with this weird flat area. That's going to be very tricky to do. So looking at it from this way, the box can still be a box, right? It doesn't have to taper in or anything. It's just going to have this flat region right down here. All right, the last thing is you can engrave something into the box if you want, like your name or I don't know, your company. If you want to make a fake company that is like Donaldson's packaging, whatever, you can engrave that into your box somewhere if you'd like. You could put MHCC on there. You can do whatever you want. If you want to just come up with a logo. So what we need for engraving is we just need a filled in shape. So if you're going to put like your name, you can actually put that in text in AutoCAD and then hatch it in solid. So you can hatch in text. So if you write text like in Arial, it'll come out something like, I'm just going to make a few letters. All right, if I wrote my name or something, it comes out like this. Right? Then that can be shaded. Sometimes it comes in black and you don't have to shade it, right? Like if you do Arial bold, it'll do it. And it'll come in black and shaded, that will engrave. Yeah, it won't cut it, it'll just mark it. So this is an example of what that looks like on mat board. Right? That's engraved.
Wait, it doesn't go all the way through?
No, absolutely not. It turns the power down of the laser and essentially burns it. And it actually gives it a little 3D.
This is the material we're using?
Yeah, this is mat board. Yeah. Whoa. So that's kind of fun. You can get kind of creative with it and, play with the logo or play with your name on it or come up with a fake company. There's like a whole different setting you have to do. There's two settings in the laser. Yeah, there's cut and engrave.
And it automatically converts text to engraved.
If it's a line, and you put that line to red, it's going to cut it. If it's a line and you put that line to black, it's just going to leave a mark. If it's shaded all black, then it's going to go just fill it all in, just like you would with a pencil, basically. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. And you can do really fun stuff with it. It's a cheap material to work with, and packaging is done with this material, so. This box is literally something, that somebody would buy or use for a wine bottle, so that's my theory. When you get these done, we're gonna cut them, etch them up, see what they look like, see which ones we like, and then maybe make a few of them and, hawk them on campus and raise some money and have some fun type of thing, okay? Can't sell the wine bottle, we can sell the box. I'm keeping the wine. All right, so what I want to do is I'm just gonna do some measuring. Actually, I'll measure it up, just sketch it up, and then I'll post those numbers. You all can measure this, but Amy's not here, so I want her to get the numbers again. All right, questions on this project?
Design can be fully of our imagination as long as the.
Yep.
People has the.
Yeah, as long as it meets this criteria, this is what I want, and then beyond that, you can do whatever you want. Like, this view hole, that doesn't have to be a rectangle, it can be whatever you want. It could be a little tree or something, right? That you cut in, that we can view this thing. So it's got to be kind of in the right position. I can think of several clever things this could be instead of just a rectangle, right? It could be the shape of a little wine bottle that you look through and see it, right? So it could be a lot of things. Whatever, just have fun with it. But we want the box bottom to close and make a solid box bottom like this one did, right? And we want the box top to work well and stay closed. So some kind of a tab that folds in, that's really works good. And then these two support things have to be designed correctly to fit inside of the box that you just designed. Does that make sense? All right, so the deliverable, what I want in Blackboard is the flat pattern. So you'll have to go into layout, get your scale to 1:1, make that piece of paper really huge and do that 1:1 flat pattern layout cut for the box and the two supports. I'm guessing they'll be separate pieces. And then I also want a front, top, and side view of your box, what it's going to look like when it's done. So that's a rectangle, right? But the bottom of it, you could show how the bottom's coming together, and the top of it, you could show the tab, and then the side, you could show how you're going to cut this hole. So those two things, actually, it's three things, right? Flat pattern, that's two things. Flat pattern for the cuts, and then a front, top, side view of your box. And I think I'm going to give you a week on this. So it's not due until the next Thursday. Is it Thursday? Wednesday, the next Wednesday. Sound good? Questions? Clear as mud? Excellent. Super fun, I say. All right. Here's the bottle to measure.
Send this section. I know you said.
What do you need, tape measure? You might need these to practice to get diameters and stuff. You're gonna want the location of the label.
That's a pretty good approach. Wasn't thinking really nasty.
Well, it's not,
Because it's rounded on the bottom.
yeah, so it's not the kind of thing that you can just trace.
But your box is gonna be just rectangle. Okay, tape measure.
I like.
I guess if we. All right, so give me some numbers when you start measuring stuff. So I can capture it and get it to Amy. What's the diameter? Big diameter?
guess it's, 3, 1,
I don't know. You tell me. So it's so many inches, so many, yeah.
4 inches. So we're on 3 inches, and we go 1, so I think it's 1. That's it. Yeah. So we're at,
Yeah, it's about 3.
if we do it roughly in the middle. Yeah, that's around that. So,
What'd you get? 3.1. It should be out to thousands when you measure that. So you read, you read the linear scale first. Yeah. 3.1, and then you read the algebra. Oh, 3.111. So that's the bottom. You want your box to be a little, just slightly bigger. Okay, 3.11 diameter. 111 inches. What's overall length? Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's not gonna go that big.
Diameter is 3.11.
11.60.
You're only gonna get so close with the tape measure.
No, we can calculate otherwise.
Yep.